Hello, and welcome to a new episode of Burn Your Boats podcast. It's just me here today, David Shaw. And so what compelled me to hop in is I'm having a lot of conversations over the last year with my friends, family members, people inside professional groups that I'm in, that are having these big capital events in their lives, and that their companies are being bought out, their share options are cashing in, and they've had a big exit of their own company. They've had in certain cases, have had a big inheritance. And these could be, they sell their real estate portfolio. And at the end of the day, they end up with 30 million, 40 million, 100 million, $200 million and in their bank account. And one of the things that is really super interesting is this concept of arrival fallacy. And what arrival fallacy really is defined at is this belief in society that if we achieve certain goals, that will lead to lasting, fulfilled happiness, and that we'll just sit there on the beach, enjoying the peace and quiet and satisfaction of our success. That is a fallacy. Almost everybody is kind of caught up in this kind of cycle, essentially, of happiness, but also dissatisfaction. These people are normally back at work within 3 months, 4 months, because, these specific goals often don't lead to lasting happiness, right? And so this brings me around to kind of the topic of today's podcast is, if arrival fallacy is true. So if it is true that the destination that we all want to get to, when we get to that destination, and you talk to people who've arrived at that destination and they're still unsatisfied, like they're very proud of themselves or what they've done, but they're still unsatisfied. They still, there's only so long you're going to sit on the beach and watch the sunsets and whatnot. So if arrival fallacy is a thing, right? Well, then what is it? What is this kind of full life made of, right? Because I'm having a lot of conversations with people who have achieved great levels of success, and they are considering what they're going to do with their inheritance. I'm thinking about doing this with my kids. I'm thinking about buying my kids this. I'm thinking about giving my kids that. And we start having this conversation about, well, what's the cost of that? If arrival fallacy is real, and so it's not the destination that is the overriding satisfying part of life, well, that must be the journey, of course. It must be the journey. But then you kind of query people about the journey, the thing that, the business that they built, the real estate portfolio that they built, and they'll say, no, the journey was freaking hard. That was really tough. So many stressful days, years, months, nights, so much risk, so much anxiety over the years to get to the destination. And so it has me scratching my head. I'm like, all right, so it's not the destination that seems to be the thing. And it appears the journey for a lot of people represents, a stressful event in their lives, or a stressful period of their lives. Well, then you query these people they've got the destination and they've taken the journey. Ask them, well, what is it? And they'll tell you, it's who I became on the journey that matters. The people I met, the challenges I faced, the things I learned, the rooms I was in, the deep brotherhood of friendship, the trust I managed to generate with these people, the love I have for my staff. So it appears then that in life, it is who you become on the journey that is life's prize. That's the satisfaction we get out of life, that it is who you are becoming on that journey, not the destination. And so I've heard a good one recently. I may have even used it before here, but like, you show me a trust fund kid and I'll show you a tortured soul. And really what that's alluding to is, if you've ever wanted a nice car, a nice boat, a nice house, if you've earned those things, you're going to polish that car, you're going to wash that boat, you're going to maintain that home. But if you just were given all of this, and that is the point of this little conversation right now, if somebody gave you the destination all the way up front, so you're 25 or you're 35, and somebody just plops the destination right in front of you, you've already made the destination. So you haven't been on the journey, and you haven't become anybody or anything on that journey. What are you taking away from your children when we're talking about inheritance? What is it that you're giving them, and what is it you're taking away? And it's a really important thing to consider, right? So it is not the destination. It is not the journey. It's who we're becoming on that journey. And if it's true that we don't value anything that we don't personally earn, we haven't personally strived for or achieved, we don't value it. It's kind of, in many ways, if any of you are parents, you will know that it only took you to have your own kids, where you want to go back to your mom and dad and say, I'm sorry for every time I didn't listen to you, every time I was, bold, every time I stressed you out. I'm just sorry, because now we as humans only empathize with what we can actually experience. And so I'm having conversations with these people who reached the destination, and they're having the conversations about inheritance and their children. And it just struck me as something just really deeply interesting about what it is that we're taking away from somebody when we plonk the destination right in front of them. And so the answer seems to be, I'm coalescing around this myself, is that, you create a multi-generational trust. Get your assets, put them into a, somewhat passive structure, have those assets managed by a trustee, and those assets will throw off a certain amount of income or growth every year. And so long as there's growth in that year, let's say you can draw down 4% off the trust. And that's what the trust earned that year. And in your kid's life, let's say you've got 2 kids or 3 kids, you can issue a small annual, trust beneficiary stipend to your kids. So you're helping them. You're not just making them go on a journey on their own. You are helping them, but you're not giving them the destination. You're not giving them enough to be at the destination. You're still keeping that journey and who they're going to become on that journey very firmly in their court, because that is what life is about. And so what I like about this trust concept is it could go on to the next generation, and it could go on to the generation after that. So you might have 2 kids, 3 kids, you might have 6 grandkids, and the trustee and the beneficiaries now will be 6 beneficiaries, but the pot of the trust will now be a whole lifetime longer. So the trust will be way bigger. And then that could go on to 1 generation, 2 generations, 3 generations, 4, 5. And so in a way, you get to leave this lasting legacy in that you have a trust. That trust is always growing. The pot will only ever siphon off 3-4% a year, so long as it has grown that much, and it will throw that off to its beneficiaries. And so you can have, as somebody who's had a large capital event in your life, you can pass this on to the next generation and a generation after that without stopping or killing your kids or your grandkids' destination or their journey or who they're going to become on the journey. And so this is something that it's conversations that I'm having with successful people. And it's something that we could all just take a minute, sit back and think about, who you become on that journey. That is what life is about. And I don't think it's fair to take that away from your kids. They might disagree with you. There are some exceptions. If your kids have shown a very, very deep interest in your business and they want to keep running with it, that seems fair that they should be allowed, get involved in that. Or if they've been very much involved in your real estate. But I'm in real estate and I see investors leaving large portfolios over the years to their kids. And so these kids are just going to have these big capital events and they don't really care about the houses. And that's why, investors and, flippers, whatever, they really target those people because they don't value the house. They don't value their dad's life work or their mom's life work. They don't value it. They just sell it for whatever. I'm up in New York or LA. I don't really care about it. Just give me $1 million or $2 million or $10 million or whatever it might be. And I'll be on my way, and they'll blow that within you fill in the blank, right? And so I think this is a really, really important thing to think about. Think about on a personal level. Don't think that a number is going to help you. Understand that the journey is always going to be hard. And just work as hard as you can on who you're becoming on that journey. And when it comes to, a retirement, and you are thinking about your inheritance, what you're going to pass on to the next generation, think very, very carefully about robbing them of their journey by giving them the destination up front. Something I'm thinking about. So we'll leave it right there for today. Thank you so much for tuning into today's episode. Look, we truly appreciate your support and hope you found the conversation insightful and engaging and useful. If you enjoy the show, because there's a lot of shows out there, would you please take a moment to rate and review us on your favorite podcast platform? Your feedback helps us grow and reach more listeners. And if we reach more listeners, we will have bigger and more interesting guests. So don't miss the show. Please go ahead and subscribe so you don't miss the next episode. We hope you enjoyed today's show. Thank you so much.
You've been listening to the Burn Your Boats Wealth podcast with Clark Lunt and David Shaw. We would love to hear from you. Please reach out at contact@burnyourboatswealth.com with comments, questions, and if you have a topic you would like Clark and David to discuss on an upcoming episode. We would very much appreciate it if you took the time to rate and review Burn Your Boats on your favorite podcast listening app, and make sure to follow and share on social media. Content in Burn Your Boats Wealth podcast is for entertainment purposes only and is not legal or financial advice. Please review our legal disclaimer at burnyourboatswealth.com. Thank you and have a great day.